Decisive self-reliance is genuinely useful. The problem starts when "I've got this" morphs into "I'm on call for everything." Try a sentence that's at least 51% believable. Someone else could handle this. Maybe not my way, but well enough. Whisper it each time your lower brain mutters, "Do it yourself." Every repetition weakens the old neural pathway and lays fresh tracks for collaboration. Welcome to the Choose Better Thoughts podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Doyle, certified life and leadership coach, and I'm here to help you make your complex life feel easy. Every episode, we tackle one subconscious limiting belief. You will leave this space having shifted your mindset to level up your career, embrace a Zen-like style of parenting, and finally savor the life you've worked so hard to create. So pop in your earbuds and let's do some coaching. Self-reliance feels heroic until it sends you hunched over in a crumpled field trip form at 11:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. The dishwasher hums, everyone else is asleep, and you're at the kitchen island making sure tomorrow's details don't unravel. A familiar soundtrack plays in the background of your mind. If I don't do it, no one will. 6 hours later, your oldest can't find the perfect t-shirt, the dog is licking yogurt off the floor, and you set down your coffee for the third time to repeat, "Hurry, we're late." This midnight multitask followed by morning resentment loop plays out in far too many households. Here's the tricky part. The instinct driving those late night fixes is often genuine wisdom. You tidy the counters now so future you wakes to calm surfaces and an uncluttered mind. You polish the slide deck so future team you can present with confidence. Planning ahead is powerful. It turns chaos into order and gives tomorrow's self a softer landing. The trouble starts when protecting tomorrow becomes the only lens you use. You didn't start staying up late to become a martyr. You started because tidying a counter or polishing a slide deck truly sets future you up for success. But when every dirty plate feels like a threat to future you peace, the present version of you never gets to clock out. Self-reliance slides from "I've got this" to "I'm on call for everything." And the strength that once served you begins draining every battery you have. So today we'll unpack exactly where that line sits and how to step back from it. You'll see through the self-coaching model that it's our thought patterns, not the permission slips, the t-shirts, or the dishes themselves that create our stress. We'll gently notice how the belief "I have to do everything myself" stirs up internal chaos, even when everything outside looks tidy. By the end of our time together, you'll have a concrete practice so that delegating stops becoming a vague someday idea. So if you're ready to keep the empowering part of self-reliance while ditching the midnight hustle, let's dive in. Replay that 11:30 p.m. snapshot or whatever moment currently triggers your overwhelm. Nothing is wrong with you. Your prefrontal cortex can comfortably track about 4 open loops, and every whispered "I have to do it myself" grabs one of them. The self-coaching model I teach in my coaching program lets us slow the film and see exactly where the pressure starts. Let's start with a simple example of dinner plates at home. The circumstance is that there is a stack of dinner plates waiting on the counter. Your thought about that stack says, "If I don't wash these now, chaos will erupt tomorrow." This mental sentence makes you feel jittery pressure tightening your chest. Because of that feeling, you wave everyone away and scrub the dishes by yourself. You head to bed late and you wake up exhausted, even more certain chores are solely your job. Your result reinforces your thinking. Now let's look at the same movie, different scene. The Slack ping during dinner. The circumstance is that a Slack notification pops up on your phone. Your thought about that ping might be, "If I don't answer right now, my boss will doubt my commitment." This sentence in your mind makes you feel an anxious buzz in your ribcage. Because of that feeling, you reply while the family eats without you. Your result is another evening sacrificed, again reinforcing the idea that your absence equals disaster. And let's look at one last reel, the crooked planet on the science fair poster. The circumstance is that Saturn is sitting crooked on your first grader's solar system board. Your thought about that tilt could sound like, if I don't fix it, my child will be disappointed. That sentence sparks another surge of urgency. Because of that feeling, you grab the glue stick and straighten the rings while your child watches YouTube. The result is that the poster looks perfect, but your child misses a chance to own the project, and you collect more evidence that you alone prevent failure. By the way, this last example goes for any area where you desperately want to foster independence in your child, but you feel like you just don't have the time to do it. Different props, identical script. Seeing the repetition is half of the work. The rings aren't really the issue. The story that they must be perfect is what lights up your nervous system. This self-coaching model helps you get specific about that story, the feeling it generates, and the result it keeps recreating so that you can decide whether or not you want to keep that result. Because P.S., you can always keep whatever result you're thinking is creating. That's completely up to you. This is just about self-awareness so that you can feel empowered. So once we have awareness, the next step is to allow things to be exactly as they are. Messes, feelings, awkward pauses, all of it. We talk a lot about allowing emotions, but today let's talk about allowing messes, literal and figurative. Perfectionism whispers that every surface should sparkle and every plan should unfold on schedule. Real life disagrees. Juice spills, inboxes pile up, and a 5-year-old will empty half of her dresser before choosing a shirt. Allowing messy reality means greeting these moments as proof that you're living, not proof that you're behind. I'm sharing this topic because it's actually my own growth edge right now. Since moving into our home, I've been laser focused on arranging every drawer like a Pinterest photo because I believe that that will bring my children stability and bring me peace. That same tunnel vision crept into how I handled my kids' routine after the move. The key is I see it, I've named it, and now I can work with it instead of letting it run me. Remember that late night field trip form we used as an example? 6 hours of sleep vanished for a signature you could have handled at breakfast. The trip still would have happened, and you would have met the morning t-shirt crisis with a much calmer voice. So when a Lego tower topples and bricks scatter everywhere, notice the urge to tidy because your brain claims it's saving energy. Pause and narrate the facts like a news anchor. Red, blue, and yellow bricks are on the rug. That one neutral sentence tells your nervous system this is not an emergency. Decide, maybe after you've had a cup of coffee, whether the tower actually needs your attention. Each time you create space between the mess and your action, you practice saving mental energy for the long term. You may have never actually done this in your entire life, so I want to acknowledge that this can feel new and a little bit uncomfortable. Messy reality shows up at work too. Suppose a teammate formats the pivot table in Comic Sans. Before you overhaul the sheet, simply name the fact. The headings use a playful font. If the numbers are readable, ship the draft and suggest a template next time. Every time you resist personally polishing, you're proving to yourself that collaboration can work even when it looks imperfect. So try a simple experiment tonight. Choose one visible sign of family life. Maybe it's a pile of markers or mismatched socks or a half-finished puzzle, and just leave it in place until tomorrow. Whenever you see it, take one breath and remind yourself, mess means we live here. In the morning, notice whether the clutter harmed anyone. Your brain will log this evidence that a little disorder can be harmless. I know you know this in concept, but if your body is reacting to mess, it needs a little more evidence for you to fully believe the thought. Allowing reality isn't lowering standards. It's reallocating energy to the priorities that matter to you. A recent study actually found that women's cortisol spiked in a spotless home, but it leveled off when families tolerated a bit of clutter. I am reminding myself of these data whenever I feel an urge to wipe every counter at 10 p.m. The mess stays. I notice I don't explode, and I give myself grace while I practice this new thinking. Getting out of the loop takes time, but we have to start somewhere. And it starts by letting the dishes, the Comic Sans, and the crooked planet be exactly as they are for just a moment longer than feels comfortable for you. Your nervous system will thank you in the long term. In a recent episode of the podcast, I introduced you to the concept of the manual, a silent rule book that our brains keep titled Everyone Else Should. Because the rules live only in our heads, people often break them, and each breach becomes fresh proof that you must handle life solo. Think back to Thursday morning. Maybe you went to bed assuming your partner would pack lunches because you handled Wednesday bedtime. At 6 a.m., you open the fridge to find empty boxes and a surge of frustration washed through you. Before you even reached for the bread, your lower brain had already published its headline. See, I have to do it for myself. Let's slow that movie frame by frame. Grab a sheet of paper and write one sentence that starts with, they should. The moment the words hit the page, notice what your body does. Maybe your shoulders lift, your jaw tightens, or your stomach clenches. Those sensations are proof that the sentence is just a story, and stories can be edited. Now walk the thought through Byron Katie's 4 gentle questions as if you're chatting with a wise friend. Is it true that I must do it myself? Can I absolutely know it's true? How do I react when I believe that? And who would I get to be without that thought? When you believe you must pack lunches or fix Comic Sans or glue Saturn back on the poster, you wake up irritated, you rush through the task, and greet your family with clipped answers. Without that thought, you might still toss an apple in a lunchbox, but you do it from steady leadership, or you'd simply turn and ask, hey, partner, can you handle lunches now? Your body would feel noticeably lighter. This is all about improving your experience. And remember our nuance from the introduction. Decisive self-reliance is genuinely useful. The problem starts when I've got this morphs into I'm on call for everything. Questioning the thought doesn't erase your competence. It widens your options. And if dropping the belief feels too big right now, bridge it. Try a sentence that's at least 51% believable. Someone else could handle this. Maybe not my way, but well enough. Whisper it each time your lower brain mutters, do it yourself. Every repetition weakens the old neural pathway and lays fresh tracks for collaboration. Okay, one last reality check. Chronic rescuing quietly trains others to underperform. Research on team dynamics shows that groups with a habitual sweeper see double-digit drops in individual learning within a single quarter. So questioning your thought isn't actually self-indulgent. It's an investment in everyone's growth. Okay, so take a moment to notice your progress. Awareness, allowance, and analysis all get a hearty checkmark. Now we turn the dial from insight to intention. We'll do it in 4 narrative moves, each building on the last. Step 1, sketch the unintentional model you're living right now. Picture last night's dishes. They're sitting on the counter. That's the neutral circumstance. The sentence that pops up next is, I have to do it myself. The instant that thought lands, pressure clamps your chest, you wave the family off, and you load every plate alone. Notice your result. Sure, the kitchen gleams, but you've silently taught everyone and reinforced for yourself that chores equal mom's job. That is your default unintentional loop. Think about how this plays out for you in your home or at work. Step 2, flip only the thought line. Keep the very same dishes in the very same sink and swap in a sentence that feels at least 51% believable to you. For example, maybe it's collaboration teaches skills and saves energy. When you try that thought on, and you can just try it on like a jacket, notice what shifts. Maybe your shoulders drop an inch, or maybe curiosity trickles in. From that feeling, you call the kids over, hand one the detergent pod, and let them clatter plates into the rack. Same circumstance, entirely different cascade of feeling, action, and result. Step 3, paint the bigger picture so your brain has a target. Imagine a Wednesday night where the kids rinse their dishes without a prompt. Your partner reviews tomorrow's calendar unasked, and a teammate uploads the quarterly numbers before you even think to remind them. That scene isn't a fantasy. It's simply the result line of your intentional model lived out over time. Hold that mental snapshot so your nervous system knows what you're aiming for. And step 4, paddle through the river of misery. Early on, your bridge thought will feel wobbly and your lower brain will beg you to grab the sponge yourself. This in-between period, no longer ruled by the old story, but not yet flooded with new evidence, can feel really miserable. Help everyone, including yourself, across the river. Turn cleanup into a 2-minute race. Cue a favorite song. Promise a 3-minute dance party at the end. Every plate someone else loads and every spreadsheet cell someone else types is a data point that collaboration works. Jot those wins down. Your brain needs to see the receipts. A month of reinforcing this model will change your evenings and your nervous system. So finally, let's lock it in with one tangible assignment in the next segment. Take a breath and notice how far you've come. Awareness, check. Allowance, check. Analysis, check. Alignment, check. You've untangled the belief, felt the messy emotions, questioned the story, and imagined a new way forward. Now let's turn all of that inner work and insight into lived experience for you with one tiny but powerful experiment. Step 1, choose a micro task. Pick something you reflexively grab. Packing lunches, fixing slide formatting, wiping counters before bed. 15 minutes or less is ideal. We're just proving a concept here. We're not remodeling the whole kitchen. Step 2, make a clear ask. Jordan, could you rough in the Q3 numbers by 3 p.m.? I'll proofread tomorrow. Tessa, please load plates and silverware. I'll wipe the table when you're done. Define done, hand it over, then close your mouth and your laptop. Step 3, ride the 90-second urge wave. The moment your brain shouts, just do it yourself, name the body signal, maybe tight chest, buzzing ribs. Breathe in 4 counts, hold 2, exhale 6. 2 cycles carry you past the adrenaline crest. Step 4, follow up once, not 5 times. For adults, maybe you say, I noticed the column's still blank. What's your plan by 4? For kids, maybe you say, plates are still out. Let's try again after the timer. Then stand back. Natural consequences teach faster than hover rescuing. Step 5, call out the win. When the task is finished, perfect or imperfect, say aloud, delegated and done, energy saved. Your nervous system hears the verdict and files it under safe to repeat. My clients who run this experiment, one 15-minute task each weekday, reclaim almost 2 hours a week within a month. That is one leisurely run, a few chapters of a novel, or an evening chore routine for you that ends before 10. Remember that 11:30 p.m. field trip form? In your new timeline, the waiver is signed at 8, the kitchen hums with shared cleanup, and you close your laptop, energized instead of wrung out. Tonight's tiny experiment just disproved the belief that you have to do it yourself. Celebrate that. You weren't wrong for carrying the load solo. You were resourceful with the tools you had. Now you have a different tool, one that swaps midnight heroics for collaborative ease. Stack these small wins each week, and the ripple effect grows. Lighter mornings, calmer meetings, batteries that actually recharge overnight. And if this taste of freedom feels good, imagine weaving it through every corner of your life. That's exactly what we do inside the Choose Better Thoughts coaching program. Turn hidden beliefs into measurable gains. More time, steadier leadership, and the kind of evenings where you read one more chapter because you want to, not because you're too wired to sleep. If that resonates, I would love to coach you there. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Choose Better Thoughts podcast. If you found these ideas helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who is also craving more confidence, connection, and calm. For more free resources and a deeper dive into my step-by-step formula for making your complex life feel easy, head over to my website at choosebetterthoughts.com. Until next time, remember that you're already there, already enough, and your goals are as good as done. You've